Hi, I'm Griffin. Welcome to the second episode of GC Antics.
And I'm Colin. Good to see you back.
Talking today, some fairly new issues, some of them not so new and becoming annoying, the school strike and the upcoming iPhone.
Yeah, after both of those, we're going to be addressing Pete Freights and how he started the ALS Ice Bucket Challenge and the craze it's become. A little bit on Game of Thrones and what we're going to expect to see for next season. And Star Wars Episode 7, how they've continued filming now. And basically just some news and rumors we've heard and what we think's coming up for that. So yeah, we talked about in our intro that we're going to be discussing the Ice Bucket Challenge and the iPhone 6 today, among other topics. Griffin, you're more suited to this. What do you think about the iPhone 6? And tell us what you know.
iPhone 6. Well, we'll get into this before we talk about the school strike. There's been rumors for a long time about what's happening with the iPhone 6. Obviously, people are excited for any new iPhone. But this is going to be the next redesign since the iPhone 5 was. And a lot of people are guessing, there's going to be larger screens. And among other things, the larger screen is the big topic. And the rumors are for two different screen sizes instead of just one. For the iPhone 5, they introduced the 4-inch above what it was before, 3.5. But the rumors for this year is there's going to be a 4.7-inch, so still larger than the current one, as well as a 5.5.
Wow.
So it's getting up to around the size of like Galaxy Note phones as well. And there are certainly advantages to having the larger screen.
Mm-hmm. That being said, though, it's going to become kind of the issue they had with the Samsung Galaxy, fitting it in the average jean pocket.
Yeah, that is something to think about. But as for comparison, here's my phone, Colin. So that's an iPhone 5, 4-inch screen. You get a feel for that.
Yeah.
And I have these two cardboard cutouts. One's the 4.7 rumored, and one's the rumored 5.5.
Okay, let me just see
what
here.
you think of those
compare.
signs.
Okay, so 4.7, not too far off.
No.
Ooh, the 5.5 though, pretty big difference.
It's really pretty big.
Yeah.
When I first heard there's maybe going to be a 5.5, I thought that's just way too big. I could never handle that. But yesterday I went to the store and held a few of the 5.5-inch screens on just other phones there. I mean, they're crappy Samsung phones. Sorry to any Samsung fans. So they didn't feel good, but I got a sense for the screen size. And it's not as bad as I would figure. Like I said, there's advantages, especially with things like photos. You could see photos a lot bigger. There's more opportunity for better gaming, as well as even just internet browsing. There's a lot more room.
Oh yeah, that's a good point. Yeah. Yeah, it's funny you should bring that up because I'm still comparing the cardboard to the phone here, and right now the 5.5-inch here is kind of scaring me. It's a huge difference.
It's a huge difference.
Yeah.
But one thing I noticed even in the store, just holding the 5.5-inch phone, after looking at that and sort of imagining what it would be like for a while, going back to my current phone, it felt small.
Yes.
Sort of the same feeling I got using my current phone and going back to like an iPhone 4 that has a smaller screen. It feels really squat and small and uncomfortable.
Yeah, fair enough. So that being said, do you think this is going to give a Samsung a run for their money?
Oh, definitely.
If iPhone's making vaguely the same size phone?
If there's a 5.5-inch iPhone, it's going to totally outshine a Galaxy Note. Because I don't know if you've held a Note or an S5, but...
Not really, no.
They're a lot worse in person.
Yeah.
Like the fake texture backs. The one texture on the S5, people have described it as like a Band-Aid texture on the back.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, I don't like that.
Fake leather on the Note.
So, yeah, the one thing that I'm curious about with the new iPhone 6 coming out is it going to be running iOS 7 when it comes out, or is it going to be...
No, it'll be running iOS 8.
Okay, that's kind of what I figured, yeah.
Apple announced iOS 8 back in June.
Oh, okay. Fair enough.
So, yeah, that'll be released along with the new phones, so...
Okay, yeah, because that may draw some people towards, because if it stayed with iOS 7, the people would probably just think, why would I put new money into a phone if it's going to have the same operating system, right?
Especially if they've already announced the new one.
Yeah, exactly. Bigger screen, but same operating system, kind of just more of a bother, right?
Yeah, and an important thing, too, is anyone with iPhones from a 4S up to now, so that's the 4S, 5, 5S, 5C and any of the new phones will run iOS 8.
Oh,
Not,
really?
Not iPhone 4s.
Oh, well, that sucks.
Yeah. Oh, and iPad mini with Retina display.
Yeah,
And
okay.
I'm not
Yeah.
sure what all the full-size iPads, but
Yeah, okay, fair enough. I see what you mean.
still pretty far back support. I mean, the 4S is 3-4 years ago now.
Yeah, about 3 years ago. So, do you know anything about iOS 8? What
Yeah.
Apple's announced for it? Like, what can we expect to see?
Well, aside from a few simple design changes, which is expected, it's like a refinement and slight improvement on 7, because iOS 7 was the big change.
Yes.
Some new things are what they call continuity, which
Okay.
works really well with like a Mac computer as well,
Mm-hmm.
or even just between an iPad and an iPhone. Like if you're working on like a Pages document, typing something on an iPad, and then you walk up to your computer, there'll be a little thing on the dock on your computer you can click on, and it brings up that exact thing. You can keep typing right there.
Oh, wow,
And
okay.
vice versa. You're doing something on the computer, you can pick it up right on the iPad, right where you left off.
Yeah, well, that's a pretty big deal. That'll draw people in.
Yeah.
So what you're saying is we can expect to see some major differences from iOS 7.
Improvements.
Improvements. Good word.
and
Yeah, I like it.
Really nice thing is, a lot of us who have like iPhones or whatever use iMessage because it's free
yeah.
internet messaging. It's a
Yeah.
lot faster, works better for pictures.
Agreed.
But we still get messages from people who use normal texting.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. I see what you mean.
Yeah. But those in iOS 8, those normal texting messages are now going to be transferred to all of your devices through iMessage, so you won't miss out on any of those on your iPad if they're
Really?
only coming to your phone. So that's pretty nice.
That is nice. Yeah.
The same thing happens with phone calls now too. You get a phone call on your phone, you can take it on your laptop.
So kind of like a Skype idea.
Sort of. It's like feeding the phone call from the phone to the laptop or the iPad, wherever you're answering
okay,
it
yeah,
through
yeah.
like a sort of FaceTime audio, like an internet audio call.
Yeah. So you can. What you're saying is you can link them.
Yeah, but you don't have to do anything. Like if you're working on something on your laptop and you see that a call's coming in, you can answer it and talk to someone right there. A conventional phone call, not just a FaceTime call.
See that's useful, and that's what I like about that's out of all the improvements that you were talking about. That's probably my favorite because Apple, over the years, has really prided themselves on being user friendly.
Yeah,
And
very
that's
user-friendly.
why they've. I think that's a huge part of their success.
User friendly, even to the point where like the development tools for app developers are really well done for the best experience for them. So even the user experience for the people who are creating other user experiences is nice.
Yeah,
Like,
well,
it shows the care.
yeah, well, of course. Like a great example is my cousin. When he was 7 years old, had an iPhone 3, which is about pretty new when it came out. And I mean, mind you, he may not use it for calling or texting because who's he going to call or text right at that age? But
Yeah.
for games and stuff, and even just an easy to navigate phone, which is great for everyone. The definition of user friendly, in my opinion, when you can target every age group and get different results, but still successful
Well,
ones.
and not having to do a lot of explaining at all for someone to use it.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
pretty easy for someone to just pick up an iPad or an iPhone and start using it.
Yes, yeah, anybody can do it. It is pretty simple.
So yeah, picking up the calls on other devices, that ties in with Apple's new Mac operating system, Yosemite, that's coming this fall as well.
Okay.
Which Yosemite has the redesigned look that's more like iOS 7, so it kind of matches more.
So yeah, moving on to Game of Thrones now, like we mentioned in our intro there.
Just a heads up, I have watched very little Game of Thrones.
Fair enough.
I think
so
3 or 4 episodes right at the beginning, so
Yeah.
I don't know much.
And what did you think?
I liked it. It's, I didn't dislike it, and that's not why I stopped watching. But I'm never one for really continually watching running TV shows. I
Fair
guess
enough.
I'm more of a movie person in that way.
Yeah, no, I know lots of people that are like that too, so I definitely understand that. That being said, one of the things that really surprised me this past week with the Emmys was Game of Thrones. I mean, Breaking Bad swept the Emmys, which is not all that surprising,
No,
really.
yeah.
I've never personally watched Breaking Bad, but it's supposed to be
me
pretty
either.
great, so...
Yeah, we can't really commentate on the quality of the show if we haven't watched it.
Yeah, so I have no gripe against Breaking Bad, but I'm still a little surprised that Game of Thrones walked away with little to nothing. That being said, the show, of course, for those of you who have watched it, is filled with amazing actors and actresses top to bottom, but there's a couple that really stand out in my opinion. Obviously, Peter Dinklage, a fan favorite.
I'm a fan of Peter Dinklage.
Yeah, Emilia Clarke.
Emilia Clarke is good.
Yeah.
I hope that she doesn't get sort of typecast in the role of Daenerys.
Yeah, very good point.
Once Game of Thrones is done, she could be a good actress in a whole bunch of other things.
Well, to be fair, she's in a new movie coming out.
Is she? Okay.
Yes. Yeah, I don't remember what the movie's called, but she is in a new movie coming out, and she's pursuing more of that.
Okay, that's good.
Mm-hmm.
Like the same worries happened with Daniel Radcliffe in Harry Potter.
Yes.
I mean, he's been doing some different movies like
Yeah,
that.
he's coming out with 2 new movies in the fall here.
And Emma Watson, who played Hermione, she was in Noah.
Yeah, and The Bling Ring.
Which itself was an interesting movie.
Yeah.
The Bling Ring?
But back on to Game of
I
Thrones.
didn't hear that one.
Yeah, that one was directed by Sofia Coppola, her first movie.
Yeah.
Francis Ford's daughter.
But back to Game of Thrones, like you said.
Yeah, nobody wants to hear about her.
No.
No offense to supporters of Miss Coppola. Yeah, the other surprising thing other than the Emmys for Game of Thrones for me is came across rumors a couple days ago that some of the main characters of Game of Thrones may not be returning for season 5. Definitely want to know what you guys think about that in the comments section. How you think that will impact the show or maybe add to it. There's definitely going to be some new, setting change. They're going to be filming more stuff in Spain this year.
But correct me if I'm wrong, wasn't the end of season 4 the end of the books?
Yes.
And they're sort of writing their own story now.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up. I also want to know what you guys think about that. I don't know how many of you have read the books. I personally have not. I've thoroughly enjoyed the TV series, but yeah, you got to ask yourself with the end of the books and no criteria to work from.
But it is George R.R. Martin, so you can trust that it's going to fit in.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, I have no doubts that he'll figure something out. I think that has something to do with the new scene changes, too. Working in Spain, maybe moving around, something to keep it fresh.
Where were they filming before?
As far as I know, before it was stuff like Scotland, New Zealand, places around like that.
I guess you don't have many sets for Winterfell and Spain.
Yeah, like you gotta find a place that kind of helps out for everything, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, that being said, I mean, I have faith that season 5 will just be as great as all the other 4 seasons, even though they've run out of book criteria. But this is a good chance to really show what George can do and strut his stuff, so to speak.
One of the other characters I see people going crazy over a lot just through social media and stuff is Jon Snow.
Yeah, I never personally understood the obsession with Jon Snow. I mean, I guess if you're a girl, I can kind of understand. I know where you're coming from. If that's kind of
it's kind of confusing because he does a good job in Game of Thrones with his part there, but then he was in a fairly recent movie Pompeii,
right?
Which I didn't see it myself. Again, but from what I heard, it was kind of a miss.
Yeah, I had no interest in seeing
it.
The
whole focus of the story of Pompeii, for you people who don't know, is this volcanic eruption that basically destroyed everything there, but froze a bunch of people.
Yeah.
But apparently that was a very small portion of the movie, and apparently the guy who played Jon Snow, I can't remember his name, wasn't that great in that either.
Kit Harington.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. Everybody knows him as Jon Snow. He's probably going to be typecast too, but
yeah,
that's for a different time.
Yeah. Outside of Game of Thrones, for other new things coming up is the new Star Wars movie.
Yes.
Everyone's anticipating that.
Yeah, it's hard to say if it's anticipation or excitement, maybe a little of both. Yeah, maybe a little worry.
When I first heard they're doing a 7th Star Wars, really? That's pretty dangerous.
Yeah, there was definitely a lot of that.
Like, please don't mess it up.
Mm-hmm.
But thankfully, George Lucas is not in charge of this.
Yes.
If he was in charge of Episode 7, I would be concerned about how good it would be.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Yeah.
he started to kind of go off the rails with Star Wars. Even after the prequels were done, he kept messing with the original movies.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yeah.
In not very good ways.
Yeah.
Just
Whereas
things that didn't need to be changed and were changed to things that didn't make sense.
Yeah, whereas Mr. Abrams is an up-and-coming star who's had his moment in the spotlight, but still hasn't reached legendary status
Well,
in terms of directing.
most people love what he did with Star Trek. I mean,
Oh, yeah, I loved what he
brought
did
that
with Star
back
Trek.
fantastically. And, you know,
Oh, for sure, yeah. Star Trek was kind of dying off there for a bit, and he really...
yeah, and
it's
made Star
resurged.
Trek something that's one of the most hardcore things in nerddom, if you'd call it.
Yeah.
Made it cool for the younger generation again, without messing it up.
Yes, yeah, very, very, very good job on that.
Yeah. As far as Star Wars goes, a few rumors about what's happening that are promising is that Abrams is using some more physical set items, like for masks of aliens, and even like a full-size X-wing fighter. So to keep it similar to the original movies, not too many CGI effects.
That would be awesome, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, another couple things we've heard about it. Obviously, they started filming about 6 months ago. For those of you who are big Star Wars fans, you probably know they had to take a break for a couple months because Harrison Ford broke his ankle, I believe. Yeah, I think that's right. And but he's back now, which Griffin brought up a good point. We're definitely going to be seeing him in the movie in some way, because if they stopped filming for him...
If they adjusted the filming because of a physical injury he had, it's most likely we're going to see him on camera. Which, I don't know what to think about that. I mean, the movie's based... We know it's based 30 years later, so... Like, what's Han Solo's character going to be like that? Like then? I mean...
All I imagine is Han Solo and his Millennium Falcon with back problems trying to escape.
And then Chewbacca's obviously going to be there with Han. I mean, and Chewbacca's not going to look really any older, because any of you who are hardcore Star Wars lore fans, you'll know that Wookiees live to be about 400 years old.
Yeah, good point.
There's probably not many of you who know that.
Yeah, a lot of people don't know that.
And I didn't know that beforehand. I looked it up, so don't think me as one of the people who knows all these extreme details about Star Wars.
Mark Hamill and Carrie Fisher also on the set. I'm assuming
Really?
What
part is Carrie Fisher playing? Is she playing Leia again?
I don't know.
Because there was word that...
I don't know, Griffin. I'm not on the set.
Why aren't you?
I really need to rethink my life goals.
Yes.
But
you could be on the set of the new Star Wars movie right now, but you're sitting here doing a podcast with me.
Yeah, I got the short end of that stick. But we can probably assume that they're going to be in the movie as well, if they're there.
But Carrie Fisher does not look the part to be playing Leia, even 30 years later.
Well, yeah, I know that.
Mark Hamill, on the other hand, could certainly play an older sort of Jedi Master Luke.
Mm-hmm.
And that would be really interesting, because that would tie in the sort of arc of the story with the past 6 movies.
Yeah, I think that's what I'm personally expecting. I'm seeing him playing a Jedi Master role, something like that. I think that's what a lot of people outside are thinking.
If you look at the progression from Episode 1 to 6, Episode 1, you have Qui-Gon Jinn, the sort of older master, and then Obi-Wan is a Padawan basically learning that.
Yes, yeah.
He's the new Jedi. And then by the end of those 3... Qui-Gon Jinn is gone. He's gone in the first movie, but then the next 3
Obi-Wan
start,
slowly transitions.
Yeah, then Obi-Wan's the older one, and Luke is the younger one.
Yes.
So then it would make a logical progression if the next 3, assuming there's going to be 3, if Luke was the older one and there was a new younger one.
Mm-hmm.
And, Mark Hamill does, like I said, look old enough.
Yes,
basically.
yeah, he's definitely old enough now.
But enough about Star Wars. We've been talking about that enough. What we mentioned at the beginning, another topic was the school strike that's going on.
Yeah, which is huge. For those of you that may be subscribed or watching our videos outside of British Columbia or maybe even Canada.
If you're not aware, in British Columbia, the teachers of, I think, about 41,000 of them are on strike.
Yeah,
asking for
small number.
Yeah, asking for better wages, better class sizes, and better class composition.
Yes.
Which the wages don't affect us, but the class size and composition does actually affect the students.
Yeah, and the whole not having school on time definitely affects us.
Yeah, we're already running over when school should have started.
Yeah, looking like school's probably not starting again till October. Could be as late as Christmas. I doubt it going that
no,
far.
if it runs into October at a certain point, the BC government will meet and legislate the teachers back to work.
Yes, forced back.
Which solves the problem of not having school, but we'll be back to all the striking.
Yeah,
again next
the
year.
teachers aren't going to be any happier with the circumstances.
No, because they haven't. If that happens, they haven't gotten anything they asked for.
Yeah,
And that's happened in the past, because this has been going on for 12 years now.
Yeah, it's a hard topic, especially one to discuss. From what I gather, everybody's obviously very upset, very emotional, and very just frustrated is probably the best word with what's going on. I mean,
Yeah.
this started about, 3 months ago? When it actually started.
Yeah, it started at the end of last year's school year, which I support the teachers and what they're doing, but right at the end of the year was not a good time to start striking, and several of the teachers I've talked to agree with that.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, if you're graduating and there's a chance that maybe you miss out on your exams, well, what college or university is going to look at you if you don't have an exam done?
Well, and even just as far as getting what the teachers want, the government isn't going to listen right then, because you miss a few days at the end of the year, and then no one's paying attention for 2 months because there's nothing at stake.
Yeah, good
Once
point.
school starts back, then people actually have to start paying attention.
Yeah. Yeah, the problem with something like this is basically what's going on is it's almost like a war format, in my opinion.
Well,
And it's
yeah.
you have all these different sides with different opinions, like politics, obviously, that's what they do. But obviously the teachers are upset, the government's upset, and the students are upset.
Yeah.
But everybody's upset for different reasons.
Yeah, well, one of the big sticking points is that neither side is really accommodating any sort of conversation.
That's a good point, Griffin. I mean, and we even went so far as to put in one of the best mediators that we have in Canada, Vince Reddy.
Yeah, I mean, he was hired to deal. It was him that was hired to deal with the truckers' dispute as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and up until this point, he was successful. And I mean, he's not to blame for what happened. And for those
No,
of
not
you,
at all.
once again, that are maybe from out of town, so to speak, and don't know what's going on, one of our best mediators that Canada has to offer, basically put down his foot a couple days ago, and said that, you know what, neither Jim Eicher or Peter Fassbender are close in any of their discussions, so we're going to take a break. And that basically is what led to school not starting on time and why we're able to do a podcast today. So
Yeah, and not be at school.
yeah, but I mean,
Relating back to the first topic, it'll let me have some time with my new phone.
yeah, no kidding. But yeah, I'm frustrated. I'm sure you're frustrated as well.
I am. I want to see it resolved.
Yeah, I'm ready to go back to school, and not just because some kids think now that this is going to be great for now, like, woohoo, we get an extended summer and all that's great. But what they don't realize is they're really going to miss that extra week of spring break and Christmas holidays later on.
Yeah.
And they're not going to know it until it comes to that.
Yeah, well, and think, just the first month gone for, like, us, because we're really into the music and everything. There's the musical theater show at our school this year, which is going to be a bigger show.
Mm-hmm.
So that requires planning. You and I were going to be arranging the pit musicians.
Yes, yeah.
So we had to figure that out. There's other stuff with music, just getting all the bands arranged and set up in time for Christmas performances or fall concerts.
Fall concerts
Like,
probably out the window.
If all of September and part of October is gone, just like 2-3 weeks max to prepare for a fall concert.
Yeah. I even saw that some schools are taking football or other sports out of the equation because they just can't fund it. They don't have the resources to continue something like that, which is really terrible. I mean, like, the teachers, obviously nobody's really winning.
No.
And nobody ever wins in, like I was mentioning earlier, in a war circumstance. But I mean, the students are pretty heavily affected.
Yeah.
Among others, and it's easy for me to say that maybe the students are affected the most because I am one. And that's how I feel, and I'm a little emotional on the matter as well, but I'm sure that the government and teachers are struggling.
Yeah, but, like, a major part of the teacher's platform basically is about the students.
Yes.
Like the classroom size, it's not just about the teacher's ease, but that is a huge part of it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but for the students being able to have more one-on-one time with the teacher, like Mr. Grant, he's a fantastic teacher, but in the art class, I think it was in either last year or my grade 10 year, it was a 4 grade split class.
Yeah.
9 to 12.
Yeah, you were telling
So
me
he's
about
dealing
that.
with all these different students, and there was 30 kids in the class. Like, that's so unrealistic for one teacher to handle and, actually have any time to work with each student.
Yeah, and that was another thing, the one-on-one time, which is, I mean, if you struggle in a subject, maybe you're a great student, and it doesn't matter if you're a great student or a mediocre one or one that struggles, you definitely need, every student needs one-on-one time at some point with a teacher, some point through their high school career.
Yeah, no matter whether you're a student with lower grades or someone who's really excelling,
Mm-hmm.
the one-on-one time is really important.
Yeah, and those with, one of the big issues they're fighting for too is maybe slower learners or special needs that definitely need one-on-one time. And I mean, stuff like that can't be compensated for.
No, and even the class composition of having basically it's hard to even out without being kind of unfair, but when you have a class full of really with a few students who are really excelling and then a bunch who are goofing off all the time, the teacher has to keep dealing with the ones who are being rambunctious and disruptive.
Yeah.
And doesn't get to work with the students who are excelling.
Yeah. Yeah, and there is that, I agree. But that being said, there's also the issue of not everybody learns at the same pace.
Yeah, that's it too.
And that's why you need more one-on-one time, because like you were saying, if half the class is learning at a slower pace than the rest, it makes it pretty hard to juggle the curriculum
Yeah.
to teach effectively. And it's just not possible. So yeah, the class composition size,
And,
stuff
like,
like that,
just-
definitely a big
And just like split
issue.
classes is it's just a problem from the beginning. I mean, in elementary school it's not as much of an issue, but having a split level thing in high school it's not helping at all because the different grades are working on different types of projects, no matter what class it is.
Oh yeah, different, and not just different projects, different experience level
Yeah.
projects. Like imagine like what you were saying about art class with 4 grades. Obviously that sounds insane, but imagine having a 4 grade difference in something more dynamic like a band class, a PE
Oh yeah,
class.
that's not possible in a band class.
No,
Like in a normal band, like a high school band, you have people of different skill levels, but they generally have the same amount of experience.
yeah, the best grade 8 still probably can't compete at the level of a grade 10 or a grade 11. It's just not.
Well, we did.
Well, yeah, but that's.
Like grade 9, we moved into the senior
Yeah.
band as well.
But we don't like to brag.
No. Yes. No, we're not bragging.
Yeah, we don't brag. But
We just contradicted our own
yeah,
message.
yeah. But yeah, or something like a PE class is a good example. I mean,
Yeah.
if you got a kid that's like in grade 8, I don't know what the average height is, and it doesn't really matter. If you got a kid in grade 8 that's something like 5'4", and then he's got to compete with somebody that's 5'11", or maybe even 6'2" in grade 11 or grade 10.
Someone like Riley.
Yeah, like Riley. And you're being, and you're all being
6'4"?
Yeah, 6'4".
6'4",
Yeah, and you're all being judged on the same curriculum. Well, how's that fair? Maybe the kid's an exceptional athlete for grade 8, but he's going to get a C+. I mean, how fair is that?
Yeah.
And how does that show on a report card?
But all of that aside, I just hope it's resolved soon enough.
Yeah. Yeah, and by all means, we definitely want to hear what you guys have to say about the matter in the comments section. Because without your feedback, the show doesn't really go on, really.
No.
So
Yeah, we've gotten a lot of really good feedback from the first episode.
yeah, some really great points.
A few helpful suggestions. One from Alex.
Yeah,
our friend.
a shout out to Alex
Shout out to
Johnson
Alex, yeah.
from Poppy, because she knows where it's at and gave us some really good tips that we've discussed this episode and really sets the bar. So thanks, Alex.
Yeah. To one of the other comments from one of your friends, a suggestion.
Was that the talk about Hitler and why
Yeah.
the Yankees
Yeah.
suck? Was it that one?
In response, we're probably not going to be talking about Hitler very much on the show. Heads up.
But we may talk about why the Yankees suck a bit.
Really, I didn't think that you'd touch that topic.
I don't really want to, but
being a Yankees fan.
I'm a giver. I like to give to the fans. So
Okay,
that's
good.
my thing.
Do whatever they want.
Yeah.
Don't think for yourself.
And on that note,
Final topic is the ALS Ice Bucket Challenge. You all know it.
yeah, obviously a huge viral craze that started a couple months back. Celebrities such as Bill Gates, LeBron James, Oprah Winfrey.
Patrick Stewart.
Yeah, even though he didn't.
I
really.
recommend watching his. It's
Yeah, yeah, you want to look that up. But in all seriousness, today we researched a bit and wanted to talk about the guy who started it, Pete Freights. Guy who himself has ALS, and obviously a bit of a tough road, and he figured, what a better way to start than basically, well, other than starting the ice challenge, the rumor that I heard is they did the ice challenge to give people an idea of what ALS supposedly feels like, what it's supposed to.
really
Yeah, that's just what I've heard.
okay.
Not
I didn't
sure
know that.
not sure how accurate that is, but
Don't quote him on that.
yeah. But obviously Pete Freights, hero of the last 3 months for starting basically a revolution around the world, had a huge impact with everyone.
And some think it might be kind of silly, but it has brought a lot of awareness to the cause.
Oh, for sure, a lot of money.
Certainly a lot more money than they would just doing it as a normal charity. But adding this social media craze.
Yeah,
Really.
hundreds of millions of dollars donated.
Yeah.
And yeah, obviously just raising awareness, which is really the huge deal with the whole Ice Bucket Challenge. Some do the Ice Bucket Challenge, and I don't think they really understand what they're
doing, yeah.
Yeah, what they're doing it for. But I think the majority do, and that's really great to see. I mean, this is something positive, and everybody. We talked earlier about school and how everybody learns at a different pace and how everybody learns in different ways, and us as human beings like to basically show things in different ways and describe what we're feeling, and try to show it to you guys in different ways, because other than learning at a different pace, we're trying to show what can be accomplished through different means.
Mm-hmm. Really embracing the power that we hold in modern society with social media. Like as we mentioned in the last episode, how it can be used as a very useful thing.
Oh, for sure.
Back to the Ice Bucket Challenge, though, one of my favorite parts is how creative people can get with it.
Mm-hmm.
Because you think dumping a bucket of ice on your head, what can you really do? But I have one I'm going to show to you, Colin. This is Charlie Sheen's Ice Bucket Challenge. I don't know if any of you have seen it. We won't have the video to show you, but you'll be able to hear it. So this is Charlie Sheen's ALS Ice Bucket Challenge. Here.
Bucket Challenge. I've been called out by Ryan Miller, who is Noreen DeWolf's husband, and also the goalie for the Vancouver Canucks. Anyway, all right, here we go. Oh wait, that's not ice. That's $10,000 in cash, which I am donating to the ALS Foundation, because let's face it, ice is going to melt, but this money is going to actually help people. So, I am hereby calling out John Cryer, Chuck Lorre, and Ashton Kutcher to identically do what I just did. Come on, guys. It's for a great cause. Have a great day.
Good guy, Charlie Sheen, hey?
Yeah, after all of his craziness a couple years back.
Yeah. You can't fix crazy, but, it's a good point, but yeah. I guess he didn't officially do the ice challenge, but you know what? Donating $10,000, I don't have that kind of money to donate, so I think that's really great. And yeah, in some cases, donating the money is better than the challenge. Being
many
said,
of the celebrities donate money and do the challenge.
Yeah, my
show
dad personally, his friends at work, they've done it too. They've donated $100 and done the challenge. So that's always good to see too, taking that extra step, which is something that usually gets overlooked.
Yeah. I watched Ashton Kutcher's. I don't know if he donated $10,000, but he didn't replicate exactly what Charlie Sheen did. It was just water.
Yeah, well, nobody likes Ashton Kutcher.
Not a
so.
bucket of cash. So.
Yeah, he's Ashton Kutcher, so what do you do?
Well, I think that about wraps it up for the second episode.
Yeah, I think we're done for today.
Like always, your feedback and support is always appreciated.
Yes, for sure.
Thanks again to those who commented on our last episode.
I'm Colin.
I'm Griffin.
And this is GC Antics.